pursues the truth. To a true scientist, nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evidence. This was quoted by Jonathan Wells in his book, Icons of Evolution. Most or all of you in here probably believe in evolution. Therefore, you hold to the uniformitarian view. This means that you believe that most of Earth's geological features are the result of slow, gradual processes that have been at work for millions or even billions of years. However, based on much research, I hold a catastrophist view. That means I believe most of Earth's geological features are the result of large-scale catastrophes such as floods, volcanic eruptions, etc. When I first started working on this speech, I was going to persuade you to believe how I believed. However, since there's no way I can convince you to believe in creationism in 5 to 7 minutes, I'm not going to persuade you to believe in creationism. Instead, I'm going to persuade you to question the theory of evolution. There are many questions concerning evolution, but there are 3 subjects I found to be the biggest and most interesting. The first question concerning the evolution theory is the geological record and So I'm sure most of you have seen this before. It's the geological record reconstructed according to uniformitarian assumptions. Here, I want to point out the Cambrian layer. This layer should only contain the simplest multicellular life forms. However, in the early 1900s, a paleontologist by the name of Charles Walcott discovered thousands of fossils of very complex life in the layer of Cambrian rock. And by the time the collection was complete, Walcott had discovered specimens from every major animal phylum that exists in our classification scheme. Walcott was unable to answer the question of what complex animals are doing in the Cambrian rock that was supposed to be containing simple life forms. But instead of exposing his revolutionary find to the world, Walcott wrote a few articles in a hidden scientific journal and then reburied the fossils in his laboratory drawers. He never mentioned them again. These are just some drawings of, based on the rediscovered fossils and what they may have looked like. It was 80 years before the fossils were rediscovered. Because of Walcott, the geological record found in most textbooks to this day are wrong. Walcott found something that should have been told to the world. Instead, he decided to keep it a secret and keep people like you and me ignorant of the truth, all because his findings did not support his beliefs. Not only is the geological record full of holes, but there is a lack of science in one of the main icons of evolution, the Stanley Miller experiment. Before I begin, imagine this. Imagine a person finds 3 to 4 bricks in their backyard, and the newspaper headlines read, "Local man engineers 50-story skyscraper." Does that make sense to you? As silly as it sounds, the same kind of thing happened to a college student by the name of Stanley Miller. Miller conducted an experiment in 1593 for the aim of reproducing conditions evolutionists thought once existed on Earth. Miller reported by the end of the week that the water was deep red and turbid. He identified several organic compounds, including the 2 simplest amino acids found in living things. Like in the example I told you to imagine, the newspapers told of Miller's success by saying he nearly made life in a test tube. The problem with this is that while amino acids are found in living things, they are only building blocks. According to Lawrence Richards' book, It Couldn't Just Happen, here are 3 reasons we know he did not show how living things began. 1, all right amino acids are found in dead bodies, but the bodies are still dead. So having the right amino acids doesn't make something alive. 2, not all the amino acids needed by living things were formed in Miller's experiment. At least 3 key amino acids haven't been made in the many experiments conducted by scientists since 1953. Many acids harmful to the development of life were formed in experiments like Miller's. These experiments produced what one evolutionist scientist calls hopelessly complex gunks. The chemicals in the gunks would have kept life from developing, not helped it develop. Something springing to life from 2 amino acids at random is as silly as 2 solid bricks transforming into a skyscraper. How could life happen by chance if we can't even create it on purpose? Aside from the major scientific assumptions and lack of logic in the Stanley Miller experiment, there is a lack of one thing that should have ultimately proven the evolution theory, and that is transitional examples. The question you must ask yourself is, where are all the intermediate links showing the involvement of one animal to another? Charles Darwin, the founder of evolution, said that the lack of intermediate links in the fossil record was probably the gravest and most obvious of all the many objections which can be raised against his views. Now you might be thinking of two supposed intermediate links, the Archaeopteryx and the Australopithecus. However, both fossils here show extreme resemblance to one animal with just a few unique characteristics. These links, plus a few others, are highly questionable. If evolution really did occur, the fossil record should be exploding with intermediate links. The I just thought that was funny. The uniformitarians themselves hold true to an important statement, and that is the present is the key to the past. If so, then let me ask you this. Why hasn't evolution been happening today? Why aren't the apes you see at the zoo slowly transforming into humans? Why aren't we as humans beings evolving? Why did evolvement stop with us anyway? If us as human beings cannot even create a life form on purpose, how did we originate from a simple one that happened simply by chance? In the words of Dr. Dennis, how do you get intelligibility without intelligence? How do you get intentionality unintentionally? For those of you with more questions, I encourage you to talk to Dr. Dennis, a professor here at SMC, or read the sources I used in this speech.